Then let's shift deeper into global transformation and China's role, because many say there is a growing sense internationally that the old order is weakening, while a new order has yet to fully emerge. How do you interpret today's changes as in a century? And what do you see as the most fundamental transformation taking place?
Well, that's most discussed question, but I don't believe the international order has changed at all. Because for me, the international order is the same thing since time immemorial. That is, it is a combination of different things. And what are different things? These are different cultures, different societies, different religions, and different social system, and above all, different civilizations. So all this together would form what we call international order. So the problem of the West is because they just believe the rules and regime that they led to build after the Second World War, yeah, is the international order. No, those rules and regime are mostly found in the economic fields. They are part of the order. It's not the whole order itself, right? So when I just listen to them talking about this liberal international order, that cannot be more wrong, because just after Second World War, there are so many events, yeah, that have punctuated this order, whatever it is. There are, for example, the independence of more than 50 countries in Africa. Yeah, I believe 51 African countries got independence after the Second World War. And then there is a decades old rivalry between two camps led by United States and Soviet Union. And then there is dissolution of the Soviet Union. And then there is the rise of China. Yeah. So each one of them is a big major event. So how can you describe the order after Second World War as a kind of liberal international order? That is totally wrong. So coming back to your question, the international order is constantly changing. Yeah, but it is made of the same elements. That means the elements are changing, right? Sometimes some elements are rising and some elements are declining or are just on the way. But it is the same elements, I would say, and it is constantly shifting. Yeah, so the focus might be shifting. Yeah, from the west to the east. Yeah, that is the focus of the shift. But the international order itself is the same.
That's a very insightful way of framing that question. Then, based on what have been discussed, let's look at China's international role today. China has proposed the Global Development Initiative, the Global Security Initiative, and the Global Civilization Initiative. Some Western commentators argue that these initiatives reflect China's ambition to, reshape the international order. Is China challenging the existing order or trying to fix parts of a system that many countries already think is falling apart?
No, I don't think China is trying to reshape the international order, but certainly there is room for improvement in the international order, as we would believe there is a necessity of improvement in everything, right? So because the international order is changing, yeah, and therefore, a lot of changes are just unexpected. So we believe that there are rooms here and there, yeah, for us to improve. So if you, there is one of the most simple way of confirming what I said is for you to find out, what China said is in contradiction to what the UN has said. Yeah, you can hardly find that. So that is why UN actually has welcomed all these kind of yeah, proposals, because they are supplementary. Yeah, they're complementary or supplementary. Yeah, but they are not the revolutionary means to change the international order. Because the reason is very simple. Because China has joined over 600 treaties. I didn't know that until I attended Munich conference and heard the Wang Yi talking about how China has signed, over 600 treaties. I believe probably, yeah, there are just over 600 treaties in the world because I can hardly think of even a single treaty that China has not joined. Yeah, I know China hasn't joined something very specific like the Kigali Principle, which is about humanitarian intervention or some other things. But generally speaking, China has been a party to all the international treaties, like United States, like Britain, like France. Yeah, so and besides, China is the largest beneficiary, yeah, of the globalization. So if the whole world is like an ocean, then China is a fish that swim the fastest, yeah, in the ocean of globalization. So why should we change the whole international system, right? And I would say that, for example, like a global development initiative, yeah, this could be a kind of a abstract concept, but you should not think like that because you can look at it. There is something very substantive there, like a Belt and Road Initiative, right? So China has made enormous efforts, yeah, and has spent billions of dollars in such a project. So, and this certainly is welcomed in most of the countries in the world. So it is not a trap. My answer to this kind of allegation that the Belt and Road Initiative is a trap is very simple. Would you spend $1 billion to lay a trap yourself?